Have you ever booked an airline ticket for what they call a mistake fare? And you know the type. It is so low, so unbelievably low that it's almost a giveaway ticket.
No, I have never booked one. I've never seen one. I've never known anyone that found one. I think you can equate it to winning the lottery. Some people do, but just not us and not anyone that we know. For us, we don't even look for them because it just feels like a total waste of our time.
What we'd rather do is spend our time following a strategy that works every time to find the cheapest available flights for us.
Yeah, today we're going to walk you through how we do it, dispel some of the mystery about what strategies work and which ones are just false. We'll also talk about a couple of websites that are very useful when booking flights. So let's go.
We're John and Bev, and we are the Retirement Travelers.
Before we get started on this, be sure to check out our other videos in our series called Travel School. You might want to hang around because at the end of this video, our next one is how we book cheap business class tickets.
Now, if you're wondering where we are as we travel, be sure to follow us on Instagram. We keep it updated to our current location. We're currently traveling in Africa and have 17 countries on the list before we head back for a summer break.
We've heard all the tricks for finding low-cost flights, so let's talk about what doesn't work first.
We've had no luck looking for tickets in incognito mode. We've tested this and we don't believe it helps us. We don't believe the ticket prices change because we've searched a few times for the same route while hiding our identity from Google and other websites.
We have had tickets sold while we were trying to check out before, and when we called the airline, we were told that they actually really did sell. Now, this happens on cruises as well.
What you want to do if you're using an airline website located in the U.S. and the flight involves a leg into or out of the U.S. and you see a great price that you're worried will go away, you can book it and in some cases hold it. You have 24 hours to change your mind and cancel without a charge. You are then free to continue looking for a better fare. Now, this doesn't always work if you're on a third-party site or a foreign site. Be sure you know what the rules are before you book.
The second way of searching for tickets is with our VPN set for another country. We've tried this. We have certainly tried this, but it hasn't really worked for us for a variety of reasons. If you have a trick, leave it in the comments and we'll check it out. I think airlines are onto this and they've set up many roadblocks. We've even searched in incognito mode while having the VPN set to another country, and this hasn't worked for us either.
This is another way that we don't believe we get value. We believe we always get better value when booking direct with the airline. In days gone by, these third-party sites and even airlines were allowed to advertise a low price without the taxes and fees added on, making them look cheaper than the airline. Now, this is no longer allowed in the US or the EU. They must advertise the full price no matter where it is listed.
So, when this change happened, it was very easy to see that the prices on the website of the airline compared to the third-party site were no different. We could even see that we might save $10, if we go booking direct with the airlines. We research on third-party sites, but we always book on the airline sites.
There is an advantage to booking direct. First, if your flight gets canceled, airlines treat these direct passenger bookings better, in our opinion. You don't want to be left having to call a third-party site and sort out a rebooking when there is a problem.
We booked some flights through our credit card using points and we had cancellations. It was pretty much a nightmare trying to fix. If we had booked directly with the airline, we would have had a much different outcome. We just don't use points for flights anymore. We have a better hotel hack and you can check it out here.
Budget airlines are another scammy kind of method to trick people into getting a low-cost fare. Yes, they're truthful when they tell you the price of the ticket, but then the ticket, the seat, the luggage, the carry-on, the snack, the water, it all costs more. We think we don't save any money by the time they add it all up and we've checked out.
Now, Southwest Airlines in the U.S. is probably the one exception. They're pretty much the only budget carrier that we found that doesn't nickel and dime us to death. Their luggage is free, and you don't have to pay for snacks or seats.
Now we think they should serve breakfast tacos, don't we?
Oh my.
Kind of been on that kick lately.
If they did that, we wouldn't fly any other airlines.
No.
So, how do we search for flights? Sometimes we might search individual airlines, but most of the time we want to search everywhere with the most powerful search engine in the world, and that's Google Flights.
While there are other search engines to look at for flights, we like Google because it has some special features and some special search opportunities.
First, when you go to Google, you can put in several cities at one time to search, and we really like that. Say you live on the East Coast, you can add New York, DC, Boston, or any other airport to the search area. We recommend you do all the airports that could work for you. I recently did a search from the East Coast to Paris and found several tickets for under $600 round trip. You can also search for business class this way, and it's just a great first option without having to search the individual airlines.
So looking at the site, you will start with one city or airport, and then it will ask, where else? Just keep adding as many cities as it will hold, and I kind of think it's about 7.
You can also do this for the place that you're going. Say you want to go to Paris, you might find a better deal going into Brussels or another airport like Amsterdam. For us, we don't care where we start our trip. We're usually going on a long trip, so we book our flights first, and then we plan our trip. You can even put in an area as big as Europe, and it will give you lots of cities and lots of prices.
The other thing that we love about Google is that they offer an opportunity to set up flight alerts to watch a route to see if the fares go down. It's kind of an interesting study. Now, if you toggle this button, Google will send you an email whenever the flight changes prices.
One of the best parts of Google Flights is it gives you a map. We love maps, okay? Where you can actually see the prices in the different cities. If you zoom in, you can even see the smaller airports as well. I really like looking at the big picture, so this is just so helpful to us. As you can see on this map, it's $500 cheaper to fly to Bangkok than it is to Hoi An, Vietnam. But you can get a direct flight to Hoi An from Bangkok for about $110 on AirAsia. You multiply that by 2, and we have just saved $800.
We will say again, we don't book on Google Flights. Now, we've compared prices with several third-party sites, including Google, and we found that Google has very competitive prices compared to other third-party sites. However, when we compared Google to the airlines direct, we've never seen a savings by going with them.
We will say that there's one caveat to this, and it's Google's new price guarantee. Now, if you see this badge next to a flight, you can be guaranteed that if the price drops, Google will refund your money. You don't have to do anything, okay? But it's not available on every flight, and we haven't seen it that often, but if you do see it and it's competitive with Booking Direct, then it's a game changer for us.
Another site we like is Seat Guru. Now, this website contains information about where to sit on the plane. It can show you which seats are windowless or which seats don't recline, things like that.
When we pick a seat, we want one that certainly has a nice window and reclines. Those are both very important to us. But we personally like sitting at the front of the plane, although not in the first row. We never sit in the first row because you can't put your bag under the seat and it has to go overhead.
If you're looking to nab a free middle seat, where 2 people sit, they book the window and the aisle, those are usually in the back of the plane. But on international flights, our strategy is to get to customs before anyone else. We like being one of the first off the plane. And so we use the restroom before we land. We don't stop once we get off of the plane. And we usually speed walk to the customs counter.
Speed walk or slightly run, maybe. Now, we've been seated in the back of planes before, and this can sometimes add an entire hour to the immigration process if the plane is big or, you're in the back of the line. Our goal is to stand in lines as little as possible, and we want to get in and get on with our journey.
In our travel planning strategies, our goal is to cut out the waste, and that includes all these crazy methods people have when it comes to finding flights. We don't want to go down rabbit holes that lead to nowhere. If you've never tried Google Flights, Give it a whirl, and we think you'll find it useful.
If you found this video helpful, please, give us a like, okay? We would love that. And leave a comment if you have another idea for finding cheap flights. Our next video up is how we find cheap business class tickets, so be sure to check that out.
See you next week.
Be sure to hit subscribe and follow along on our retirement journey around the world.